your own history and experience. When we talk about then the psychology of Black people, we must understand that psychology in terms of the experience of our people. You cannot go and get a psychology from another people whose history and experience has been different and just impose it upon yourself. You will create problems. And therefore, I looked at the history and experience of Black people and talked about psychology in those terms. We must talk about education in those terms, business in those terms, and anything else that is relevant to us in those terms. We must recognize that the love relationship between the Black mother and her child, between the Black father and his child, between the mother and the fathers and the sisters and the brothers in the Black family is shaped by the political, social situation in which we as people live. And that has to be taken into consideration. So love, you see, under those circumstances, does not just flow up out of the heart, it's influenced by social political circumstances. If there was a difference in the family in terms of who was the darker or who was the lighter or who had the good hair or who had the bad hair, that means that racism in the political social system has entered into the parent. And the parent then transfers that racism, even in the way he or she relates to the children, onto the child, and creates in that child then an attitude toward itself and toward the world that flows from being in a particular social political position. You see, then, when the white psychologist talks about the parent and the child, they can talk as if it is the relationship between the parent and the child that makes the child what it is. However, when we talk about the Black parent and the Black child, we must talk about that Black parent's relationship to the white world, that Black parent's political position in the world. How Black people have been dealt with in this society must be considered. And all of these things influence to a good extent how that Black parent is going to relate to his or her child, what they're going to say to their children, how they're going to prepare their children for life, how they are going to express their love or not love toward their children. So then you must understand then that love, what we call love, is shaped, created, and maintained by social political systems. Therefore, as you will see when we go through this lecture, you must see how then your social life and existence itself is going to influence the way you relate to your husbands, to your wives, to your boyfriends, to your sisters, and to your brothers. I want to talk a moment or two in terms of what we call the relationship between love and community. I want us to understand that love between a man and a woman, or between a parent and a child, thank you very much, is ultimately a gift to the community itself. Thank you, kindly. I have emphasized before that when you have a child, you just don't have a child for yourself. The child just does not belong to you as a mother or as a father. A child is born into a community of people.
What is good, my people? We are live back again with another live broadcast on the forecast. What's going on, Cassidra?
How you doing today? We ready to go?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was running. I got home a little bit late. I was running a little bit late, but
That's
we still here.
okay. Yeah, we still here. That's all good.
Yeah.
Ready
Shouts
for
out to
another-
Bakari in the building.
Yeah.
Appreciate you
Hey,
coming through.
Curry. Yeah, we ready for another great one.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so consider, and by the way, if anybody want to come up here and give their 2 cents or add into the conversation, or if you think we wrong or anything, if you think we missed something, y'all can definitely come in here and add to the conversation. So definitely
Absolutely.
appreciate that. So but yeah, how you doing today, Cassidra, first of all?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm good. I'm off. I'm done. I'm ready. I'm just chilling.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
good. How was your day today?
It's a long day, long day. But yeah. Well, yeah, so yeah, consider I know we were supposed to actually probably talk about this topic last week, but it's an important topic that I think we still should talk about, you know.
Mhm.
And we're talking about parenting on a few different levels. I know we can go a lot of different levels, and
Oh
we
yeah.
probably will in the future,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
this time, you know, we want to talk about specific parts of it, you know, is like, you know, the parenting and are we preparing our children for the future? You know, are we creating those legacies, or are we just setting them up for failure? You know, so what you think about that, Cassandra?
Oh my God, this is an amazing topic because I see it every day. I see, seeing what the foundation, seeing it when I meet different parents and stuff. And I'm telling you, we're not preparing our children. We are preparing them we're really setting them up. I hear different parents and, even my granddaughter, she said, oh, Grandma, I want to go to a 4-year college. And that's okay because every parent knows their child. But if you've not spent at least the last 2 years, say for instance, they're sophomores and they're talking about going to a 4-year college, if you've not spent at least those next 2 years, you should have already gotten them ready to be on their own, right? But that sophomore year should be the year where you start setting them up, to be by themselves. Stop waking them up. You shouldn't be still setting a clock for them to get up. You shouldn't be sitting up there going in their rooms and still fixing their beds. You should not be still making their breakfast. You know what I'm saying? It's different things that you have to do to get them ready to be on their own. A lot of kids are, when they get to college, don't even know how to make their beds. They don't even know how to cook. They don't know how to do anything but call home and ask for money. We should be preparing our children so that, for instance, when my daughters got to be sophomores, we were driving around going to different schools. Georgia went to Elon, Emory, Elon. What? No, I'm sorry, Emory. I think it was. Went there. Went to the there was a one downtown. We went to several schools and just trying to make sure that it was a great atmosphere for my daughter. And one, we went to Spelman, right? But I didn't like Spelman. It's a great school, but I didn't like how you had to go through the projects to get to the dorm. I didn't want that at all. Great school, but the location just sucked to me, right? So you have to be ready. Kids have to be ready to be on their own. It's almost like we shield our children for 18 years, and then that 18, they graduate that night, that August, we okay, go ahead, go on to school, but you've not left them alone. You've not taught them how, this is a big world. They get into schools and it's like wow kingdom, especially if you didn't let your child go to different little house parties, or some parents don't, but you didn't allow them to be a child, a teenager. So now you're getting ready to throw this child out the house that you didn't even train to be in this big old world you get ready to release them to. So they get in them schools and they getting pregnant, they drinking, drugging, driving while drunk, they not going to class, they doing more sexing than anything else. And you wonder why? Because you're not preparing them, you're not getting them ready. You can't just throw them out there. And then a lot of our children don't even know at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 what they want to be. So now they're getting ready to get in debt because they're going to go to school, they're going to trade, change this major. And remember, every school that they go to, every time they change their major, they're going to start over because every major is different. You understand what I'm saying? So be careful. And then they're like on their, they're 22 years old. They've been in college and now you racked up $43,000 in debt. You have no more student aid because you only get 50,000. You have no more student aid and you're broke. You're more in debt than anything else. You got $43,000 in debt. And then you're trying, now I'm 23, 24, 25. Now I know what I want to do. And you have no more money. Stop sending your children. Go and send them to like a trade school, okay? A trade school, a school where they're going to go maybe 15 to 18 months just to get them some money in their pockets, just so that they can figure out kind of like what they want to do. Because a lot of times we want to throw them out there because we want to live, we want to live through them. But we can't do that. We have to be very careful because these kids, they don't know what they want to do. They have no clue. And I would just send them to a trade school for like what, 2 years? and then call, okay, do make some money. Then if you want to go back at 23, 24, 25, you still got some money left over and you can continue on with your career. I'll rest my mic.
Yep, that's a fact. And my brother Bakari is in the chat, and we're gonna talk about that. And Bakari is a great parent. He has children off at college, and when we address the topic about sending our children off, or leaving the house or whatever, maybe Bakari can come on and speak as a parent, who has been in that situation. I can't really speak on it. But and I was looking for some videos that I couldn't find about it, because it was talking about building generational wealth, but and how other communities, when they their children stay in the house with them, but they, of course, they have generational wealth already, so they can pay for college and they can do all of these things that we necessarily didn't have the money for, especially coming from the 80s to the 90s. We might have more access now, but that made it even more important to stay within the same household or the community and build your resources instead of having five. I get it, because as somebody said, or even back then, it's hard for Black people to be in the same household, and we want to, the children want to be on their own and the parents want to be on their own, but we all paying rents and lights bill or mortgages or whatever you pay. We all paying all of these bills, instead of putting our resources together, and building generational wealth, and even planning as a family to put our resources together.
Totally.
Shouts out to Ray in the building. I'm not the first time seeing Ray, but peace to you.
Welcome, Ray.
Shouts out to my brother Anthony in the building.
Hey, Anthony.
And consider, before we get to that though, talk about another aspect of it too, and and that's with the adoption thing and the whole area of. I know you saw it a couple weeks ago. They were saying well, should white dudes adopt Black children, or white parents adopting Black children?
Oh, I totally don't agree with that. Totally not. Ever. Totally not. Every time they adopt our babies, every single time, they either come out gay or they come jacked up in the head. Just like that young man that he was adopted, and I sent that one to you about Dr. Umar talked about the 18-year-old. He was 17, who white parent adopted him when he was a baby. This boy has post-traumatic syndrome. How did he get that? He's 18. Where did that come from? If you got this child as a baby, how in the world, what happened in your house for him to have PTSD? Tell me. You know what I'm saying? So no, I don't agree. You babysit yours. You go and adopt your babies, but leave our Black babies alone. It's always an agenda with them. I don't give a dang on everything. You can already look that everything they have set up for us is for our demise. So you mean to tell me they're going to get a Black baby and teach him what he needs to know in this life, how to be successful? I think not. Every child that they've had, look at the lady, the South African lady. She adopted those 2 Black boys, and what? They're girls. She's dressing them up like girls. Come on. Either they're gay or they're homosexuals. Well, the same thing. But still, that's every time they get our babies. So tell me why. What's the problem? Why can't you raise a normal child, but your child, so I think her name was Shalise. I think we talked about her, Anthony, Shalise. I think she's from South Africa. And her 2 Black boys that she adopted, she has them in dresses, but she has a normal little boy, right? Her own, and he's normal. So what's going on in that household? What's going on with that picture? And see, we don't say nothing about that. We just say, well, he's loved. How you know he's loved? How you know they're loved? How do you know that? I don't see no love in dressing him up as a girl. That's not love to me. That's abuse. So go ahead, I rest my mic. No, I don't think they should be adopting our babies. Not at all.
Yeah, Charlize Theron or whatever her name is.
Yeah, South African. I think she still got some of that South Africa apartheid stuff in her. That's what I think going on. I think she never get over that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna and matter of fact, because I got it right here. Now this one happened probably like just a few weeks ago that everybody was talking about, when this UFC fighter here, and he has quote unquote adopted, well, he has black kids, but he had adopted quote unquote abandoned black children.
Raising black men, I'm raising men. And whether you are black or you are white,
let me see. I'm sorry. I think that was the beginning.
I'm raising children. I'm not raising black men, I'm raising men. And whether you are black or you are white, no matter what race that you are, there are certain things about being a man and being a good man when it comes to character and integrity and safeguarding the helpless and sticking up for those who need it and being a good man of reputation. None of that has to do with skin color. Everything has to do with the character of the man. And like I said, it's probably probably not an answer that some people would say is important, but that's where the world has gone, where we think that the most important thing about us is our skin color or our gender or our sex or our political affiliation or all these different identity politics or the identities that we put on each other, when really we're just human beings on this earth. And there are certain
people adopt.
I don't know if we the same type of
black children and then say things like, I'm not raising black children, I'm raising children.
Exactly.
Who are you? So this is UFC fighter Michael Chandler, and this is his wife. They've adopted 2 black children, and he recently did an interview where he stated he's not raising black children, he's raising children. And while I understand that he thinks that he means well by creating this piece of, I don't see color, let me tell you why that's a problem. Yeah. Even though you claim that you and your wife don't see color, the world does. This is America. And so when those children look at you, there's going to be, this can be problematic because it ignores.
All right. Yeah, I get the point on that.
You remember when different, who was that? Who was the guy that kneeled? I'm not good at sports.
Yeah, Kaepernick.
Yes, remember he had a movie out, right? And you remember in that movie, his parents didn't understand how some of those white folk was treating him. He tried to explain it, but they didn't get it. We get it as a black folk because we've experienced it. So he would never understand what it is to be black, for one. He would never understand what it is to raise a black boy. He would never understand the culture. He has no clue on how to raise black children. He's going to raise them as white children. You understand what I'm saying? But when they get into the mix of the world, they're going to treat them like what? We know what they're going to treat them like. And they're not going to be used to that treatment. But he's not going to tell them, son, this is what's going to happen in America. He's not going to tell them that. They're getting ready to grow up in a bubble, protected, but you're not going to explain to them what it is to be black in America, because they're going to face some issues that white dude right there will never face. Let him drive his car, which is an expensive car, through town. He'll never get stopped, but let his son drive the car and he could possibly end up dead. You understand what I'm saying? So you can't raise a black child if you're not black. You can raise what he said. I'm not raising a black child. That's very unfortunate, because that black child is going to need to know how to maneuver in a very racist society. So he's doing those babies an injustice. And then what you'll do, you'll take them to Africa. Well, I want to get them some culture. That's really, they need to understand how it is in America being black. And he's not going to tell them that. They're going to have to see it on their own, possibly when they get older and he's not with them. Then the police will stop him, or he'll walk through in a store, somebody grab their purse and go, what's wrong with them? They're not going to even understand the society that they live in. So I think that's very dangerous for them. But go ahead, I rest my mic.
No, yeah, and yeah, and I just thought about it. I would have looked for it because it was just like a year ago. This white dude saying the same thing. Had this little black boy in a MAGA hat, you know, and like a lot of people was like, "Yo, this look weird and abusive." You know what I'm saying? Like, and when I was younger, you know, before I knew anything, when I see like a white, like black children or something. Like you could tell the mulatto children, you know, no disrespect, but I'm talking about like, you could tell this person is white and those children is black. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And it looks weird. And then like sometimes I'm like, if I see it and I can, you know, I go like, yo, you all right? You know what I'm saying? Make sure you all right, little kid. Like ain't nothing going on, ain't no kidnapping going on because it looks
Exactly.
weird, you know.
Exactly. But
Mhm.
even though I remember this one time, and I think it was on TikTok, where that black woman, the little black girl was in the grass, and this white man was standing over her, and I guess they had adopted her, right? A black girl, right? And him and his boyfriend had adopted her, and she escaped from the house, and she was telling this black woman all of what these men were doing to her, and the black woman stayed with her, and these white men were so angry. They tried to show the girl that, oh, she's crazy, she didn't take her medication, and but what kind of help is she going to have? Nobody's going to believe her. They're going to believe with these two dysfunctional white guys that was chasing her down the street. She escaped. Why are you escaping? What are you running away from? You understand what I'm saying? So who's going to investigate that? Not the police. Who's going to investigate if she's telling the truth or not? And she was telling the lady what they were doing. They were punishing her and all the stuff that they were doing to her. And the black lady was standing there, and she said, well, I'm gonna wait here until the police. And these dysfunctional men got so angry. Why don't you mind your own business? And so why, if it's okay, why would you get so angry when this woman was threatening to call the police? You understand what I'm saying? So it's very iffy. You kind of want to help her, but you don't know how, because we can't call the police and not get arrested or not get killed or not get beat down. You know what I'm saying? So what do you do in that situation? What would you have done? But I'm looking at that, and I'll never forget that. That bothered me. That really bothered me. We seeing this little girl on the ground, and these men standing. One was standing over, and the other one was kind of standing back. But the other one, he was just as loud and out of breath, and it was just something to see. It was very questionable. I rest my mic.
Yeah. So all right. Let me okay. Yeah. And then let's see.
After he says he adopted his black daughter. Take a look. Will Power has put out a call for help after he says he adopted his black daughter. Take a look.
I'm hoping to get this TikTok over to Black TikTok. Any Black parents? We have adopted a Black baby. Her name is Zoe, and I don't know what to do for her hair. I have this little brush. I have something from Shea Moisture. I really don't know what to use. So please, any Black parents or anyone who knows what to do with Black children's hair, please help me in the comments. Thank you.
See, now they was on because these two is like a gay white couple or whatever, with a black baby, right? And then a lot of people was like, oh well, and first of all, they're brushing this newborn baby hair. Apparently, you're not supposed to do that, right? And they already have a shaky background or something, because people was talking about it and looking in their background, and they got some type of shaky background because they was mad they're using this black baby for money. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're doing right here. But
Man, that's sad, that baby. And see, even situations like this, that baby will not have a chance in that house. That's already dysfunction right there. How did his parents treat him? Why is he the way he, I'm saying we have to go deeper instead of looking at the outside. We got to understand there's some dysfunction going on in that house, period. Why are you, what's going on? You got a whole husband. Come on. I don't give a damn what y'all think. My thing is, I don't think gay or bisexual and all that, I don't think they need to be adopting babies. I remember a time you couldn't even get a baby when you're single. Now you single and black, you can't get one, but you can get a baby when you're gay and bring a boy. That's just crazy to me. And then I remember the one couple that had a whole family. Remember them two lesbians that had all kind of kids, and they was abusing every last one of them and drove off the cliff with them. See, this is what I'm saying when you get our babies and how you treat them. And then the one kid, two of them had ran away and told the neighbors, and they called the police, fed the kids, called the police, and sent them right back. And then the police still didn't take the babies. And they had an open case in another city. It's crazy, but they can do what they want with our children, and nothing happens to them. It takes them 5 years to investigate somebody. You can do what you want to do. Them little N-word babies that don't matter. And I think that's very disgusting. We should have a place. Just like I bet you I can't go and adopt a ooze baby, or Asian baby. You know what I'm saying? I bet you they got something already set up for their kids to go to. So in case they need a place to go, they have a place for them to go. But we can't do nothing like this. We can't adopt our own. Tell me why. We can complain about what they doing, but we don't have our own setup. We need our own setup. We can't just sit here and talk about what's on my. We have to have our own. We need our own. Everybody, every other culture has their own, service, adoption service or foster service or whatever it is. When you see somebody need help, what's wrong with you taking on that child and giving that family some help until that mom can get on her feet? It shouldn't even have to go through a court. Period. We should be, helping out each other because we know it's the right thing to do so that they won't be able to adopt our babies.
Right.
Are you?
Yeah, that's a fact, And they had a long discussion about some, and of course, I ain't gonna go there, but and then they was going in on them. Now I wish I was looking for one here, but I could not find it about this fat white dude a couple months ago. I think you remember it, considering what the dude was like getting paying for like the babies to be or 15-year-old children or something to be brought over here so he can molest them, and the dude got arrested for it or something like that. I couldn't remember exactly.
Brought over here, or was he in Africa?
He went over there, but he was trying to get them over here, trying to like adopt them and bring them over here. But he had like he got text messages or something where he got caught up,
doing goodness, this is crazy. I remember one he was caught up here. I don't know if we're talking about the same one, but he was brought up on charges here for molestation, right? Him and his wife, and he escaped, got out of jail, whatever, and went to Africa and opened up an orphanage. This old white dude, him and his wife. And they ended up getting caught, but this was after like 10 years. It was a while. And all them girls, he had touched all of them. So I believe in jungle justice for him. Seriously. When you come and infiltrate like that, then you need to find a lion or something. You need to be left at the national park with Simba.
Yeah, facts. And I couldn't find that one, but this was a different one in Uganda.
I remember that.
I'm just gonna read this story, and I have no comment. U.S. couple charged with torture of their foster child in Uganda.
I remember that. He was like
Ugandan
special needs too. He was like special needs, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I think so.
Okay, go ahead.
Authorities have charged 2 U.S. foster parents with committing aggravated torture against their 10-year-old son. The charges allege that the couple, both 32, constantly tortured the boy between 2020 and 2022, with neighbors sounding the alarm for the child, who attended a school for children with special needs in Kampala. When police raided the house, they found CCTV evidence showing that the child was forced to squat in an awkward position, served only cold food, and made to sleep on a wooden platform without a mattress or bedding. When police raided the house, they found CCTV evidence showing that the child was forced to squat in an awkward position, served only cold food, and made to sleep on a wooden platform without a mattress or bedding. The boy was one of 3 children fostered by the couple, who arrived in the East African country in 2017 to volunteer at a US-based nonprofit. International adoptions have sparked controversy in Uganda. In 2020, the US government filed criminal charges and imposed economic sanctions against a US-based adoption ring that placed Ugandan children who weren't orphans with families in the United States.
All right, so
this
y'all
article
kind
had
of
some additional information. Our team,
I have a. See, every single time they touch our children, it's got to do with some abuse. They can't just come in and, I remember, there's so many cases where this white family had this black baby, ended up killing her. Then you had a Chinese family that had 2 adopted babies, and they said the babies, they were out in the backyard and they came up missing. Come on, you guys. We're talking about 5 and 6-year-old. They were brothers. Both of them come up missing. Okay. See, no. Keep them far away from your babies. And Uganda, I don't understand these African countries. We don't remember. We don't remember the history. We seem to fail to realize that the harm, what comes with these people. Nothing but trauma, hatred, rage, anger comes with these people, and it's almost like we'll never learn that. We always looking. Well, maybe this one, maybe they're different. No, they're all like that. All of them. Go ahead, I rest.
Yeah, that's a fact. What's going on, my brother Guy in the building? Shouts out to Blanca in the building. Appreciate y'all for coming through. But yeah, and this is the Charlize Theron joint he was talking about.
Yeah. I'll tell you.
Charlize Theron's parenting was criticized from day one of her motherhood journey, but she received the worst backlash when her eldest child came out as a girl. The thing that bothers people most? Jackson was only 3 back then. 7 years later, Theron's critics are still unhappy with her for accepting that choice. She's nuts. At age 3, I thought I was a mermaid. My parents didn't throw me into the ocean.
Exactly.
It's really selfish of her to try to change her son's gender. That boy will probably hate her one day. Charlize certainly doesn't have to explain her decisions to the public. Still, she commented on Jackson's coming out more than once. I thought she was a boy too, until she looked at me and said, "I'm not a boy." So there you go. Theron is used to criticism.
What the hell is that?
That's European logic.
What the hell? He's 2. I thought he was like, I think he was. And then she goes, oh, he said he's a girl. Okay, so you're going to make him a whole girl instead of you teach him. If that's all he's around is girls, then he may be a little confused. But that's when your parenting skills come in and you say, baby, this is what it is. And you get your girl books out and you get your boy books out. And we talk about it. And this is what you are. You have this right here. So that makes you a boy. And if you had this, then that makes you. Seriously, you don't just agree and put him in a damn dress. That's not parenting. And the 3-year-old don't know what the heck they are if you've not taught them. Go ahead. It's crazy.
He said, well, there you have it. As European.
Both of them. She has 2. And she did both of them like that. So the 3-year-old over here said, hey, I'm a girl. So the next one coming, he said the same thing. But your white son didn't say that. Your white son is normal. So what's going on here in your house? What is going on for real? That's what I need to know. Oh, okay.
Since even her decision to become a mother was received poorly. Both Theron's children, Jackson and August, are adopted. One camp of critics accused the actress of following a celebrity trend. They assumed it was the easy way of getting to be a parent. Yet in truth, Charlize knew she wanted to adopt since she was a little girl. Single woman was challenging, but the most painful
to an unborn child. And in adoption,
they're her for adopting from the States. But the truth is, to the family. But many netizens don't approve of a white mum raising 2 children of color. What's more, people in Charlize's home country, South Africa, were angry at her for adopting from the States. But the truth is, Charlize applied for adoption in every country that would consider single mums. And Theron didn't need a man to help her raise kids. Why? Because she had the perfect role model, her own mother, Gerda. I knew that I'd have to have my mum help me if I was going to do this as a single parent. I'd feel pretty alone if I didn't have a partner in crime in all of this. Theron completely...
A partner in crime.
Just say it. But her mom didn't even have sense enough to say, baby, let's talk to the... No, nobody stopped her from dressing this boy as a girl. Not even her own, what the mentor she had, her mother. So you mean to tell me both of y'all ignorant? Nobody has any sense to know how to raise children? This is why you don't give our babies to them. Never. They will have a perpetual hatred for us. So you mean to tell me that nobody in that house could say, you know what, maybe not. Maybe I'm not, both of them, something's wrong if both of them coming up to you talking about, I'm a girl. Something's wrong here. This is ridiculous. This is abuse. If I'm black, right, and I got 2 white boys, you think they would let me keep them boys if I'm dressing them as girls and come and say, well, they want to be girls. Do you really think they would let me keep them babies? I wouldn't do it anyway. I'm just saying. No, they wouldn't let me keep them babies. You know that. And I know that.
Yeah. And the fact that, they be like, well, single mom, like, so they know father figure. I don't need a man to raise no baby.
Exactly. And that's exactly what she's saying.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, it's enough about this. This white girl. I thought I pulled up the Umar Johnson one that you sent me. I guess I pulled up the wrong thing. Let me see.
If you go on that, go to I think it's 814, because he even talks about that one, about how the mother, you adopted this little baby as a baby, so why is he suffering with PST? Why? What happened in that household for him to be on 6 medications? Because they asked us to take 12 medications, right? So now you got a black baby who you didn't started putting them on all kind of, something happened in that house for that baby to be on all that medication in the first place. Shouldn't have never been in that school. He was given all that medication and never got any kind of, no diagnosis. I mean, you had the diagnosis, but it was like they were just putting him on medication after medication after medication and wasn't giving him any therapy. They was just, nobody was keeping up with what they were doing, So that's abuse right there. So you can abuse ours, but, you expecting us to do what with yours? Go by the book. But every time they've adopted our children, they either come up dead, like the little two gay women drove the kids off the cliff in California, or what? They come up in jail on medication. Nothing good. I haven't met who was that? Steven Spielberg with the little girl. He adopted the little black girl, and now she's a porn star. What the hell? Is that what you raised her to be? What's going on in that house? Okay, I'm just wondering. Something ain't right here. Something just ain't right. They can't raise none of our children correct. None of them can be doctors. None of them can be lawyers. None of them can be anything but hoes or gays or drug addicts or what the hell? What's going on here? I haven't seen one that was adopted yet that came out right. Go ahead, I rest.
Yeah. And Blanca said, sorry. Yeah, I don't know what beef was in the comments, but yeah, it's all good. But yeah, you can say whatever you want to say. It's all good. It ain't no beef. But anybody can say whatever they want to say. It's all love. What's going on to my brother Black Magus in the building?
What beefing? I must have missed it, huh, Blanca? Did I miss it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But let me okay, so you said what part of the Umar Johnson?
Go to the 814 where he talks about he started where he talked about what happened in the house. 814. Okay. He goes all the way and he talks about how the little baby, how he came into the household.
Okay. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna play this, and then I want to ask you, a question that that everybody's gonna say, and I guess is a must that we discuss that part. Damn, how many commercials we got on this? All right.
I never called her back because I would trust money. But you know what she did reveal? She revealed that she reached out to Benjamin Crump, and Benjamin Crump turned her down.
Is that 814?
Big the money.
Go ahead. It's fine. Just leave it there. It's fine.
This is it. You said play this part.
Is that 814?
Yeah, I started at 814.
Okay, that's fine. I'm thinking. Okay, just let's see what happens, because I think it was. Okay, go ahead. Just play it and see what happens.
Yeah, because it's at 8:30 now.
Okay.
She called Ben Crump, who's based in Tallahassee. She would not help.
Oh yeah, see. So I guess he's talking about somebody who they called Ben Crump to help them get justice or something. Was that the story?
Yes. Go ahead.
All right.
He would not help because Benjamin Crump is only about money. If the case ain't bringing no money in, he ain't looking at you. Guess who else she looked out for help? NAACP. They turned it down. Because nobody wants to defend a tall, dark-skinned black boy who put his hands on a privileged white female. So that's why we're going to go back to Brunel when we get a new date, and we want to stand and we want to protest. Because we're not going to let this black boy go down without doing something about it. The reason I can't bring myself to call that white mother You had this boy since birth. She didn't get him at 7. She didn't get him at 12. She got him as an infant. So how did he develop post-traumatic stress disorder?
Right.
How did he develop conduct disorder? You had him since the hospital. How did he develop ADHD? Now, the autism, that could have been genetic, but that post-traumatic stress ain't genetic. That intermittent explosive disorder, not genetic. What happened in your White House that messed this black boy up? Nobody's talking about that. And I don't know if y'all know, but in your state of Florida, your court system adjudicates more minors as adults than any other state in America. Florida is the school to prison pipeline for black boys. And this is why I've been telling you parents, when I talk about special ed in educational law, even if your child has an IEP, if their infraction involves weapons, drugs, or serious bodily injury, the IEP doesn't protect them. I need y'all to know this. I don't care how many disabilities your son has. If he comes into school and he threatens to hurt somebody, I'm gonna shoot you, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna blow his school up, even though he's joking, he might only be 5 years old. He will be expelled from public school for the rest of his life. And I'm gonna tell you, parents, something. You better get in the habit of telling your children to stop making threats inside these public schools. Thousands of black boys in preschool and primary school are being expelled for making threats they can't even carry through. Snow Bunny knows he can't do it, but it don't matter. He's black, and he's the enemy. And what a lot of you don't understand, especially black mothers, even though I've been preaching this for 25 years, the white power structure does not differentiate amongst black males when it comes to punishment. Whether your son is 5, 15, 25, or 55, he will be dealt with the same. White America does not allow a period of adolescence for black boys.
That was the main part forecast that I wanted to talk about, how he said that they had that baby. That young man was a baby in their home. And so what really happened? Nobody's asking those questions. But I remember when he was first reading about that young man's case, right? Dr. Umar went into more details when he read the case, and an incident happened. And, you know, the mom talked about the little incident, but it was a lot of stuff that was going on that was kind of questionable about some of the stuff that she was saying that was going on in that house, you know. And I'm like, nobody really investigated that. Why is this baby on 6 different medications? You know what I'm saying? And they're trying to try him as an adult for punching a teacher, but he had in his IEP not to take his game, right? So my thing is, why was he in that school? That means you weren't teaching him if he was playing a game all day, and you weren't supposed to take his game. So why was he in school playing a game all day anyway? So he shouldn't have never been there. And that's what Dr. Umar talked about, you know, early in the video about why was he in there. So I just wanted to try to get that part out of how they adopt our babies. And every time they touch our babies, and they do it to us too on their jobs. How many of us have PTSD dealing with them on our jobs? So if they're dealing with you like this on the job, what do you think they're doing to your children in school when you're not there? But we still feel safe enough to give them our children than to a black school. That's mental illness, family. When you sit up there every day and give your child to snow people that you know don't like you, that you know when you go to their jobs, you got to fight every freaking day. And hopefully you and pray that you don't get fired today, just out the blue. But we have the nerves to sit up there and take them, give them, and leave them alone with our babies. Something not right with this picture. Not even with us. I'll rest my mic.
Yeah, and yeah, I remember that the young brother. I didn't know he was adopted that hit that teacher, and then she on there trying to be like, "Oh my God, I was so scared," and all of this other.
Yeah, but you took the game in his IEP and said, "Don't touch his game." You knew that, and you knew the consequences. That's why she tried to run out the class. So what happened in the class? She said, "I didn't take," but you didn't show us no pictures of the class. You should have had some pictures of the class. Show us that you took his game, because you know you did. And then she goes, "I don't care if he don't ever get out of jail." Well, what kind of teacher is that? Where's your sympathy? Where's your forgiving? I forgive. Where's your forgiveness at? I'm just saying. You want us to do what you won't do. I didn't hear her say she forget that baby. I heard her say, I don't care if you'll never get out of jail. That's what I heard her say. So next Negro that say they forgive some white snow person, then they need to, I'm just saying. I don't want to hear another black person when you forgive somebody. They're not forgiving you. They will have a perpetual hatred for you. They killed a 26, 23-year-old, shot him 96 times. And the other, how was the other kid that the cops went to his house? What, you understand what is going on here? But we as black folk got to get to the place where we got to get back to trusting us. They have us so brainwashed. We rather give our kids to them. I work next to a charter school, white one. And I don't see you see the black kids up there, the black kids playing by themselves. They walking in the back of the yard, the back of the line. Do y'all understand the abuse that you're putting your child under every single day? Then our children come out suicidal and you say, well, I don't know what happened. Well, I do. They are abused since birth because you had them in their schools. Your children are normal up until they hit 5 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, and they hit their schools. And look at the damage. Look at what happens from 5 until they're 18. Something's wrong here. Something is wrong here. And we're not even thinking about fixing it. Because I don't want the white folk to get mad if I take my baby out of their school. I don't want to stir up no trouble. What the hell are you talking about? Your child's safety should come first. Them being safe, them being taught. You already know. How many black parents don't know that their children, and Dr. Umar just talked about it. He said that Florida is a pipeline to prison. Don't we know that, black family? We all know that. But what are you doing about it? You still got the nerves to give them your child. You still got the nerves to trust them with your babies. You'll trust them with your babies than me. You'll trust them to take care of your babies, to feed them. You take them to their little white daycares, and then they turn around and not feed them. Then you remember seeing that, maybe a year ago? They was feeding the white kids first. What the hell? You even doing it to babies? But this is what they do. And we know this. But that's what we caught on camera. Remember they had the little boy digging out the toilet with, he had pooped in the toilet and stuffed the toilet, had him digging out the toilet with his hands. What the hell? We know they dysfunction. You know they mentally ill people. You know they come with a lot of trauma and drama, and you still trust them with your children. Shame on black people. Shame on you for leaving your children with these demons and devils.
Yeah. And yeah, so he's like, yeah, Michael said he hopes you took your blood medicine.
I did.
No, because so you know that what they're gonna say, right? Because I was looking at one, I ain't pulled that one up either, but they was saying, and this is what they're gonna tell us. Well, it's better to be adopted into some home. All it matters is it a loving environment, and it doesn't matter if they're black or white. Like they turn into Michael Jackson. Like, it doesn't matter if you're black or white, as long as they have a home, because you don't want. There's so many black children not being adopted, that's left in the foster system. So what do you think about that?
I'd rather stay in the foster care system. You know what? My thing is, this is why I'm not even gonna say that, because that's not true. Because I don't want them. I don't want to see them in a foster care. I want us to have a facility. I want us to go to parenting classes. I want us to be fixed. I want black women and black men to get the help that they need, whether we started in elementary and put a life-threatening or some kind of therapy in these schools, and they go every Friday. And adults on their jobs, it should be mandatory for you to have EAP and go every Friday, because we got to get fixed. We got to do better. Because look at our children. They've been in their schools way too long, and it's wild kingdom up in there. No discipline, no rules, just wild kingdom. And you think that's not done on purpose? If I have a program for your child to go to prison, am I going to have rules? Your child can't even hit back. Look what happened to the young lady. She hit back, and they still have her in jail. But that wouldn't happen if she wasn't in that atmosphere. That wouldn't happen if she was in our own school where we getting the help that we need, where the parents getting the help that they need, our men getting the help that they need. I believe we as Black folk, it should be mandatory for you to have some type of counseling every Friday night, every Thursday night, something, because we need some help. But why would they do that? Why would they set that up? That's up to us. That's up to us to go and get the help that we need so that we can fix us. I rest my mic.
Yes, and I saw people talking what about the lady who took her babies and dropped them off in foster care, and she was pissed off. And I would say this, and I would say, so as far as like even some of the solutions, because I know for me, right, I guess it could be a possibility one day, especially if I don't have any myself, to where you're doing that, because people will be like, well, you don't have any, whatever. But Black people, when there wasn't this type of thing, work together and put their resources together to take care of like widowed families and like the children and stuff like that. That's why they created them societies they created. I know it got perverted and twisted, or people think it got perverted. It's not what it used to be. We all got perverted and twisted. But a lot of those societies was there to help each other bury their loved ones, but also to take care of like children who may not have their parents, because there was a lot of Black children who, what was going on at the time, like it was a lot of children without their parents,
Right.
And so like people, like they work together as communities to raise resources in the 1800s even, and for us to not be able to do that now, it speaks a lot, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to help so many. Because even if you do, like, you're only helping, like, you got to leave like 3 kids in there or however many in there. And I understand, because even like my older sister, my dad had super young, she had to go to one of those group homes, where like the problem child. So like I seen, like, even when I went there to visit her, when she would get in trouble and stuff like that, because my dad kind of came around late, because it is what it is.
But even with that forecast, we have to still understand why, even when we see something with our children, okay, youngsters, even if they're not ours, and you see them, and you know when a child is going to jail. You can look at them at 5 and 6 and they so damn bad. You'd be like, that boy gonna end up in jail. Right there, that right there, he should be taken right in and start doing some testing and some training and some teaching and some counseling, because that behavior can be fixed. That behavior can be fixed. I'd rather, for just like Blanca said, the woman that dropped her babies off at the foster care, or dropped them off at the foster care. Why didn't she take them to the daddy's mama? Why didn't she take them to the daddy's house? Seriously, I'd have dropped them off over there before I would strangers. At least the baby daddy or somebody in that house gonna have some grace and some mercy for their grandbabies. Then you taking them to white folk that don't give a dang on about them, that can do anything and everything. And we've known. I've talked to some children in foster care. It's horrible up in some of these houses with these white folk, with these Black kids. You got a lot of Black kids up in foster care, and they being abused. I remember what was that I seen? They had like an auction. I don't know, broadcast, if you remember. They had an auction, right? And the little boy, the young man, went home with one of the men, and he brought the young man back. And the young man didn't talk about what was going on, but he adopted or tried to, or it was like a trial adoption. You didn't really adopt them yet. You got a chance to take them home and then see if you guys were compatible. If you were compatible, then you would move forward. The white man, he adopted, or he was thinking he was going to adopt this young man, right? The young man was maybe 16, 17. He ended up bringing that young man back. Nobody understand why. The young man didn't say anything. He didn't say why, but I guarantee you it was some hanky-panky trying to go on, and that little boy was like, nah, we ain't doing that. You understand what I'm saying? So I do believe that that it was something else that the young man wasn't even talking about. But we got to do better. I'd rather for you to drop him off at the baby daddy house. Let his mama, he got a whole family over there. Somebody in their family could take them babies. I wouldn't take them to an adoption agency or a foster care. I would take them to his side of the family. I'm just saying. There's got to be a grandma over there, an auntie that ain't got no kids that'll take them babies. But a lot of times these daddies their parents, their family don't even know. Because I've talked to how many girls, and I said, well, where's the baby's daddy? Oh, his mom, she don't know about the baby, or the young lady, or he didn't tell the mom, or she don't talk to the mom. But that's not up to him. That's not up to her to tell the baby's daddy's mom. That's up to the baby's daddy. I'm thinking, somebody got to talk to that side of the family. So you raising these babies by yourself without even getting any help. What is going on here, ladies? We don't do that. Where we do that at? We're not doing that. He was just as active. And if a guy tell you he don't want no babies, stop having these babies. Cover it up or stop having sex. Which one you want to do? Because we got a mess. Something got to give somewhere. Go ahead.
Yeah, facts, But at the end of the day, all of these solutions and the answers is like the people, and they don't have to be everybody, just the people who are serious about not wanting Black, because I would definitely put money into that. You know what I'm saying? Like, who wouldn't? If we put together your own agencies, maybe if it, like, even assuming they don't get adopted, but to be able to take care of them, to educate them, to feed and clothe them and all of that. And hopefully that, you could find healthier Black parents to adopt them, So, but at the end of the day, so, all right, Cassidra, we go to this next one. Okay. All right, with the biracial who was supposed to. Yeah.
Exposes her white mom's alleged racism, and it is making the rounds. Here it is.
My white mom is racist, but I'm mixed. And yes, you heard that right. My mom has 2 Black kids and she's racist. She had multiple Black partners, including my father, and they were even married at one point. As I got older, I started to realize how racist she was. She would call my friends and their moms monkeys. She said my dad was Blacker than her. She called my brother's friend the hard N-word and then punched him in the face. Me and my older brother share the same mom and dad, but my younger brother is white. He was always treated a little bit differently than we were. She had bipolar disorder and she would always get real angry. And when she would get in her little modes, she would argue with everybody and just start saying a lot of racist things. My grandparents were even racist and they didn't mind her acting that way. So a lot of people be like, why did you cut off your family? Why did you cut off your family? This is not even the half. But just know everything I did was for good reason. Don't block your blessings by keeping people in your life that aren't meant to be there. Some people are just lessons.
All right. And then this was another girl. It was a lot of these. But
mixed baby needs to hear this, but it's okay if you drop your white mom. It is. There are so many white mothers who sit there and they have mixed babies and then they literally destroy us. Mm-hmm. My mom, ever since I was little, has been calling Black women disgusting and loud and dirty and arrogant and ghetto. And for some reason, she feels...
Think about that. Some people who don't take baths call other people dirty. Ain't
okay.
Think about the delusion. But, all right.
To realize that I am the same woman that she is talking about. She fails to realize that there's no difference between us. The only difference is the slightly lighter complexion. That's it. Y'all sit here as white women and you have Black and brown and Asian children, and then you literally talk about us like we can't hear you. You talk about how we're disgusting and how we leech off the government and how we're not even from America and how we don't even need to have protests for things because everyone's created equal in the first place, but then you date white supremacists and bring them into our own houses. And you expect us to be comfortable. I don't get how y'all can pretend that your kids don't hear you and then be absolutely baffled when they finally do. And they finally don't want to be around you.
Hey, black moms, I got you for a minute. Sit this one out. Hey, yo, white mom, stop.
All right. You can. And Blanca said she a foster parent of 3. That's what's up.
Wow, awesome. Because I'm sure they need you. But
Mhm.
yeah, let's talk about the bipolarism, okay? But we see a lot of these white girls have been raped and molested, and they've gone through hell in their homes. So they are bipolar. They have a lot of dysfunctional and stuff, and DNA has been passed down, right? But in the white families, as we see, a lot of those biracial kids are coming out very dysfunctional, like that white side of the family, because that's who they're around a lot, right? But when I notice when you got the black side of the family, the black moms with the biracial babies, the black side of the family, they pretty much accept them more. They can bring them around the black side of the family, and they're not abused. You know what I'm saying? But with the white baby, you take the black baby amongst them white folk, and they get all kind of abuse going on because you literally leaving your child. And I want these black men to understand the dangers that they're putting their black babies, their mixed babies in. I don't know if they know what's really going on, or if they just not notice it, or they ignoring it, or what. But you are putting your black child in a lot of danger dealing with these bipolar white women. I rest.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fact. And yeah, like Monica said, if they're treating their own like this, imagine how they're treating someone else's. And yeah, they can do that to. They can definitely do that to their own.
And they do.
Yep.
I mean, listen at her. They telling you what's going on. She said, and I've seen a white woman that even admitted that she was racist. And she said, I have black children and I'm still racist. I have a tendency to treat my daughter. And she admitted it. And they admit it. Some don't, but you can still see it. And then you have grandparents. You know your father and mama don't like black kids. You have a mixed baby, and you take that baby over there, and then you have a little white son. And I remember seeing this in Walmart's one time. It was this woman had a mixed baby. It was a little girl. She's maybe about 10 or 11. And then she had maybe a 5 or 6 year old. Maybe he was about 7 or 8, and he was white, right? So she treated, and I'm looking at this, she treated the little boy better than she did the little mixed baby, right? And I'm looking at this, and it took everything. And my husband looking at me like, oh God, here she goes. Because I'm looking at her, right? I'm begging her to look over there at me. I'm begging her. My husband like, come on, Cassie, let's go. I was wanting to say something so bad, but I didn't, right? I didn't. But it showed, boy, I thought about that thing for a long time, because I said, God, he showed me that for a reason, and I should have said something, and I didn't. Not to the parent, but maybe to the little girl to kind of encourage her. Yeah, this woman, I see it. I should have said something really encouraging her, and I didn't. I don't know, I didn't. But I think about that all the time. That I didn't say anything. But yeah, we have to. I mean, I'm looking at the difference. I can see the difference, and this is just a couple that's saying, that lived and grew up in those homes. But this happens all the time. You think it don't? These white women are jealous of these black girls. What you think? What you bet? They wishing they was black. Why you think they were a black man? Is it just a fetish, or do they really want to be black?
Yeah, and you see how they can treat their own children. It's like thousands of these videos like this.
Yes.
And the whole white moms thing, but there's also the white dads too. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. Yes, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
And then check this one out. A labor of a white mom of black sons. I guess they adopted. Threatened to shoot them.
Someone wants to do damage in that way and form of just a single mother trying to survive.
Tonight, Melissa Robertson's family says she's still in the ICU after what authorities believe was a racially motivated murder attempt.
Female subject shot in the stomach.
Officials say Tuesday in Lockport, Illinois, 70-year-old John Shadbar was seen firing dozens of rounds with an assault-style rifle. The Chicago area man allegedly hitting his 45-year-old neighbor in the chest and hand.
You can actually see bullet holes.
Robertson's son, Mikhail Johnson, says she is that neighbor, adding his 7-year-old brother and a 3-year-old were just yards from the rampage on a trampoline.
What goes through your mind? I just thank God, and I think
kind of dirty a yard is this. She was probably a single mom too. Why are they out there?
Everything higher up that nothing even more tragic happened. Just
Johnson says for years, Shadbar hurled racial epithets at his family. Robertson is white. Her 2 sons are black.
He called her N-word lover and just called me and my little brother N-words.
The Will County Sheriff's Office says before this week's incident, the victim complained twice about Shadbar in March. Authorities writing one shouting incident was resolved by deputies.
Hey, thank you! Got it on video!
The sheriff's office says the other call was about possible gunshots and fireworks, adding there was not enough evidence to make an arrest. But Johnson says his family made more calls.
And it's heartbreaking, to be honest. I feel like if it was anyone else in any other neighborhood or any other station, it'd be a different story.
Shadbar faces multiple charges, including for attempted murder and a hate crime. He has not entered a plea, and NBC News has not been able to reach an attorney for comment. Meanwhile, investigators released photos of this arsenal they say they discovered at Shadbar's home, including the AK-47 style rifle they believe was used in an attack that has changed lives forever. Jesse Kirsch, NBC News.
What do you think about that?
I think, see, this is what I'm saying about the police officers. They could have did something about this a long time ago, and they chose not to. Now she's either hurt or it could have been her shooting him. It shouldn't have even got this far. You know what I'm saying? But here I go again. Here I go again. Why them black children there? You know, we cannot integrate with them. We can't. If we come and move in their neighborhoods, back in the day, remember, they used to burn crosses in your yard, right? Because I remember, growing up in Indiana, and we go into Valpo and Crown Point, and I remember a black man bought a station, right? And he thought he was uppity, so he gonna move out there in Crown Point, Indiana. And them crackers out there, they burn candles, okay? Candles, they burn. They burn crosses in your yard. And I'll never forget that. He had a cross burned in his yard. Now we can't go into their neighborhoods, but Jeffrey Dahmer can come in out and eat you and everything else, and no problem. They can mix and mingle with us, and we invite them all to the barbecue, don't we? But then you can't get invited to their barbecue. What about the farmers in Denver who fed those crackers during COVID? And then as soon as COVID was over, they didn't need them no more. Now they harass them. That's what your ass get for feeding them. I'd have let their asses starve. I sure would have. They'd have had a reason to hate me. I'm not gonna feed you, and then you're gonna bite the hand that fed you. What we doing? You got see what I'm saying? You do stuff, and then you wonder why what happened? You ain't had no business messing with them in the first place. Why you move out there in Denver? Just bought the farm out there. Why would you go out there and buy a farm? You couldn't buy one somewhere else around black folk. It's just we just be doing stuff. Stuff that shouldn't even be happening is happening. I don't believe in mixing and mingling. You let them crackers stay over there, and let's go over here, and let's start over. Let's start fresh and new. Our ancestors put us separate. Let's honor our ancestors and stay separate. I don't think we would be in a position we're in now if we had still been separated, because they wouldn't have been coming over there. We wouldn't be dumbed down. We wouldn't be thinking that they're better than us. We wouldn't be dependent on them for every breath of life. We depend on them for food, air, and water. That's very dangerous, because if they shut any of that off, who said that? Malcolm said we're in trouble. Ain't that Malcolm? That said we depend on these crackers for everything. That's dangerous when you depend on a man for everything. They shut it off, you dead. You're done. I'll rest.
Yeah, and so here the white girl got shot for being an N-word lover. And shouts out to William Bell in the building.
Yeah.
So she had him out there, and obviously redneck somewhere.
Exactly.
Redneck
area, of course. You can't be. She knew she was on dangerous territory. She lucky she didn't die. Because they kill theirs. When you integrating and you bring in black kids and you doing all this stuff, you marching with the BLM. Kyle Rittenhouse shot 3, didn't he? And 2 died. And how much time he get? Shoot, they was telling them white folk don't be playing. You go, you running your mouth and you take it up for black folk, you gonna die, and ain't nothing gonna happen to you. Kyle Rittenhouse didn't serve 1 day in jail. He didn't get no time, because they knew those 3 was off code. They were off code. And they take care of their people, just like we don't take care of Candace Owens, who was off code. She's been off code for 10 years and still was allowed to be, just running free, talking about black folk like dogs. You had a guy, you had the one that killed Malcolm X running free, no problem, no revenge. We don't care what people say or do. We just let that, okay, God will get them. No. We're supposed to shut stuff like that down. We're supposed to teach people how to treat us. We don't do that. That's what's going on today. I rest.
Yeah, the guy that they say killed Malcolm X died of like old age or whatever.
Old age. Can you imagine that? Old age. What the hell? How was it? Why? Why? See, this is what we need to ask. Why was he allowed to live? Why? Why did that doctor? Why was he allowed to live? Why was the lady who had Emmett Till killed? Why was she allowed to live? We can ask ourselves these questions. Why is it that when they offend us, just like Amber Geiger, why is she still roaming around in jail? You feel me? She should already been eating the dust. She should have been pushing up roses by now. Why is George Zimmerman still eating Skittles? Why is the guy that was knelt on George Floyd's head? Why he's still breathing? You understand what I'm saying? We don't avenge anybody.
Yeah.
I know a girl that killed the older lady back in years back, right? She broke into the white woman's house. The son, right, said, "Oh, I forgive." Now white folk don't forgive, right? He kept up with her. He, oh my God, was made friends. It's okay, honey. She got out of jail. He called himself out of town when she got out of jail. Then that girl spent 10 years in jail, right? Got out. He knew she got out. He went out of town. While he was out of town, so-called, she died, right? She got killed. Do you believe he did it? They don't forget. But it was so happened he had an alibi out of town. Okay. He might have been out of town, but I guarantee you he had somebody take care of that. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. He kept up with that girl all the time. And she moved from state to state and he kept up with her. He always showed up. He kept up with her for a reason. They don't forget. But you tell me you forgive? Really? But she dead. I bet she good now. What you bet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm just saying. Don't play with
did
me.
Did he get punished?
No, he was out of town, remember?
Mm.
He was out of town, he said. Okay. But I guarantee you he know who did it. Check his bank account, see how much money he missing. How much he paid for that person to do what he did. Probably not much or nothing. Maybe $10,000, if that. You feel what I'm saying? But they got the money to do that. But I guarantee you they didn't investigate him. What you bet?
Yeah, that's if he paid somebody. His gloves probably fit.
Exactly. But she was ended up dead. Sure did. I don't think she was out of jail 2 or 3 years. 15 months. Not long at all. But he just happened to go out of town that weekend. Yep.
Yeah.
They didn't investigate him.
Yeah, but it's like you say, it's like with the discipline. And Blanca says, black people need to be the savage they think we are. But if we was as violent as they say we were, we wouldn't been. This whole situation wouldn't have lasted a week.
Oh God, honey, honey, we wouldn't be sitting up here. I guarantee you that child that had got shot 96 times. I guarantee you it wouldn't have happened. What you bet? Michael Brown would still be alive. Trayvon Martin would still been alive. All Sandra Bland would still been alive. I guarantee you it, because that shit would have stopped a long time ago. The first time we would have revolted with them, shit would have calmed down real quick. They'd have been out. You can't go over there messing with them black folk. We don't do nothing. So who gonna stop it? Police don't just stop themselves.
Yeah, Jim Crow would have been called like Tyrone Jenkins or something. Okay. It would have been the other way around.
Okay, didn't see that guy in North Carolina shot 9 and killed 4 of them. Okay, now if that was something that would happen all the time, that would shut a whole lot of shit down. You know that. They be hey, don't go over there mess with them niggas. You already know. You know Tyrone. Okay, leave Tyrone family alone. You know what I'm saying. Come on now. Peyton would have went in that grocery store and shot up that grocery store. What you bet? Dylan Roof would have went up in that church if you had some brothers sitting up in there that was packing. What you bet? As soon as he'd have pulled his out, they'd have pulled theirs out and they'd have blew him up. What you bet? You feel what I'm saying? We do stuff and we sit up there and wait for stuff to happen. We don't even protect ourselves, knowing you see the news every day and you still walking around here without your leaf blower, without your candy bar. Guarantee you, if Dylan was had went up in there and brothers had pulled out there, or security would have been at the back door, he'd have turned around and walked up right up out of there. What you bet? Okay. What we doing to them? They slithering, we gonna slither.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna talk about one more thing, and if anybody want to come on here and say anything about what we talk about, put the link in there. So we're gonna talk about the last thing, Cassidra, and that's like as far as parenting goes, like kicking our children out too early or whatever.
How many of you guys are parents of children who are of the age where we start getting annoyed with them being in our house and want to kick them out, right? So I want to know how many of you guys are parents of children who are about like 21, 22, 23, because I have a question. I have a question that I want to ask you guys. So today's topic is going to be, are we failing our children? Are we failing our children when we kick them out the house? Are we failing our children when we kick them out the house? Hey, Monique, I miss you too. Hey, Tanja. Okay, so Tanja, your child is 22 years old. Perfect. Okay, assalamu alaikum, Abdul. Yes, I'm back. But when your stupidity becomes like annoying and is out of control, you trying to get people, don't blame me there. I'm good. But certain things I just don't tolerate. Certain things I don't tolerate 9 out of 10 times. I can ignore stupid people. But when your stupidity becomes like annoying and is out of control, you trying to get attention, I'm going to give you the attention you're looking for. You ain't going to like it. So nonetheless, I feel better now today. I feel better. Who has she has more than one child, but her oldest child is 21 years old. And he is a male child, a boy. And her biggest complaint was that if he is not going to contribute to the bills, he's going to have to leave the house. Now, this is a young man, granted, who didn't go to college. And you know what the truth is? College isn't for everybody. That's just the truth. College is not for everybody, but the young man is working. And you have to keep in mind when I say that he's 21 years old. 21 years old. So I get called into this situation because it's creating a crisis in the home. As a therapist, I get called in because it's creating a crisis into the home. And her biggest gripe is if he's going to live in this house, he got to pay bills. And if he's not going to contribute to the household, he has to leave. This is a person who is working at a job that pays him $11 an hour. Remember what I just said to you guys. He is 21 years old, does not have a college education, is making $11 an hour, and lives with his parents in an affluent area. And her gripe is, if you're not going to pay bills, you got to leave.
All right, so.
Okay. Come on. Here we go. All right, y'all. Ready for this one? Okay. Okay. 1, we training our children to be prosperous adults, right? Period. They cannot live there indefinite, right? If you have done your job as a parent, that child should be able to leave there at 21 if they choose to. But now you know your children, and I'm gonna be blunt. Boys stay home longer. Okay, 25 is cool. I'm just saying. Now, if you know your child and you know that you didn't do the work and he can't leave at 21, where the hell he going? He gonna get in trouble. So no. But if you are a parent and you are sowing seeds and you're teaching him how to write checks, you're teaching him how to budget, you're teaching him how to pay a bill, you're teaching him, give him a bill. If he's living there, if he's working and he's making $11 an hour, okay, give him the cable bill, give him a food bill, give him something so that you can teach him how to fish. We're not going to feed you. We're going to teach you how to fish. So therefore, when it's time for you to leave, you're going to be responsible. Okay. I believe in sending our children to do trade schools. I'm not going to set my child up to make $11 an hour. I'm going to tell my child, I'm going to investigate, and I'm going to say, okay, I need you to take up the cyber team, okay? Because I'm going to tell you what, y'all getting y'all children ready, do cyber, okay? Get them in automotives because for these electric cars coming, because these electric cars getting ready to make somebody some money. Because if you know how to work on these electric cars, a lot of car people don't know how to work on these electric cars. You can set your son up to be an amazing business owner, okay? If he learned the trade, he get a garage, he can hire some people, and he got his own business. Even if he don't know how to do the work, you can set him up to be very prosperous. If your child, you can set him up, help him with an apartment. You know what I'm saying? There's different businesses that you can help your child if he don't want to go to college, but at least set him up with something. Don't just sit there and let him make $11. He may have a talent. If you know that your son has a hair cutting talent, send him to barber school. If you know that he can draw, send him. Okay, why not allow him to make paintings and set him up with an art gallery online so he can sell his paintings? Find out your child's gifts, set them up in their own businesses if they're business owners. But if they're not business owners, find out his gifts and send him to a trade school. You're not going to sit up here and let your child make $10 an hour and then try to put somebody out. Where the hell he gonna go besides to a corner and get in trouble? So no, I don't believe in putting your child out. If you have not done your job, then guess what? That child gonna stay there until you get off your ass and do what you're supposed to do and teach them how to fish. I'm not telling you to get him the fish. I'm telling you to teach him how so he can go out here and get his own fish. That is your responsibility as a parent. You can't sit up there and keep making up your child's bed, keep setting his alarm clock, and you know he got to get up from school. Sophomore year, you need to be setting that clock for this Negro to be getting up so he can go to a job, somebody's job, to you getting him acclimated to be able to wake himself up. So it's things that we can do as parents to get our children prepared to be able to leave at 21 or 25. I'm just saying. But if you don't do what you're supposed to do, then yeah, your child gonna make $10 an hour. That's that parent's problem. So she got a problem. She ready to put her child out when she didn't do her job as a mom. And it's definitely his dad didn't do his part. Okay, the dad probably not even there, but her mom probably put her out back in the day. But back in the day, you could put your child out when they was 18, because you get an apartment for what, $200-300, right? Apartments today, $1,500, $10 an hour. Where he gonna go? But put to the Roach Motel or on the corner. You understand what I'm saying? So no, it's just everybody learn different. But you have to be a parent that's going to produce prosperous adults with visions. Okay? Both my girls are out. This was the thing. I said, hey, I didn't believe in the service. We're not going to the service. But you will go to college and you will take up something. And both of them have degrees. My baby has 2 masters. Don't play with me. Because she was an honor roll student, very smart. And my oldest, she has a degree also. So both of my children had degrees because I wasn't taking care of grown folk, and I prepared them to be on their own. I prepared them to be able to eat and to be able to take care of themselves until they get husbands. When they get husbands, they know how to back up. They know how to allow their husbands to do what needs to be done. But until that husband came, I taught them how to fish. And I rest my mic.
Well, that was spot on. That was real talk. And even when it comes to this, is teaching, as families, and like I was saying before, because I want to see what you think about this. Like I couldn't find that conversation it was so long ago, where they were saying, I think that this because especially from the young people side, well, they want their independence, they want to do X, Y, and Z, and then the parents, they like, well, you got to pay bills or you get out of here, and you know how Black parents are, and they'll be quick to put you out, and then a lot of times the youth might feel like, okay, well, I want my freedom, but when they see, not to compare to other groups, that's just what they were saying when the conversation, they were like, well, Asians, or Mexicans or whatever. Now, I don't know whether they do or they don't kick their kids out, but the point is they were saying, when these families stay together, you know, they're able to accumulate all of the resources that they get as a family, and you contribute towards one set of bills instead of having each individual person in the family with their each individual whole household. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So how do you think that we balance that wanting our own space? Because I'm guilty. When I was 18, I'm like, I can't wait to move out. You know what I'm saying? When I
Exactly.
was
But I
18,
think
you know?
that's something that we put into our children younger. You know, for
Right.
instance, I told my girls, okay, 18, we're gonna do something. You're gonna get a job. But I wanted them to really you know what? I was talking college when my girls were like 2 and 3. And I used to sing a song, you know, about the high school, you know, we don't have babies till we marry. I used to sing a song, I made the song, we're gonna get our college degree. I had a whole song. You go to middle school, you know, then we go to high school, then we go to college, then we get married and have babies. I sung that song, but they knew that and I had a girlfriend that said, what happens if they don't want to go to college? That wasn't a thought. And my girls didn't know that they didn't have an option. They thought the only option was for them to go to college, right? Even, you know, and it didn't matter, you know, if they wanted to, they didn't think they had a choice. They had a choice, but I didn't tell them they had a choice. So their choice was, I'm going to college. And what I did when they were sophomore and junior, I took them around to different colleges. I said, give me 4 colleges that you think you want to go to. And we visit those colleges, and then we made a decision. My daughter, my baby, wanted to go to University of Denver. Okay, we went to University of Denver. She applied, they invited us out, and they paid for everything. They paid for me a hotel room. So I gave them options. I need you to go to school, but we visited those schools, and the schools that was around the corner or the schools that was in another state. I remember we lived in Virginia. We drove to Georgia because I wanted them to have an idea of the college life. I didn't understand. Hey, let's take them to a trade school. And that's what I would have now. That's what I would be doing now. I wouldn't take them to a college. I'd do a trade school, but it was mandatory. So here again, I believe that even with the Asians coming together now, how we'll do it because things are expensive out there. Come on, we can put our monies together, and that's what Asian families do. And everybody has a bill. That's what Mexican families do. I remember I rented to Mexicans, okay, and everybody was probably 10 and 2 or 3 bedroom apartments. I'm just saying, in a house. They lived in that house. You come by there, it looked like it was a different Mexican every week, you know, every month. You had 5, you know, 5 was here, and then you had 10, you had mattresses on the floor, they had no furniture, they had mattresses, and during the day you had a woman and she'd be their cleaner, and she kept the money and she paid the rent, she paid the bills. But I'm telling you, they do this. They come together and they stay together. But everybody is participating. Everybody is bringing money to the table. Everybody has a bill. Everybody is paying money, or they just split them bills up 15 different ways. So this one may be paying 100. This one may be paying $50. You know, just depending on the total amount of bills. But everybody is coming to the table with something. It's not going to be one Mexican there or one Asian that's not paying nothing. With our Black children, they're so spoiled, they'll come to the table with nothing and think you're supposed to take care of them forever. No, we're not doing that. But if you have children and you've been talking to them since babies, and they know that what you expect of them, the expectation is that you bring some money to the table, because here, I got an electric bill for you, or I got a cable bill, or if you've been up all night and my bill is over your bill is usually $150, it's $200 this month because you didn't left the lights on all night. I'm gonna expect that $50 for you to cover the overage. You know what I'm saying? So it's just different ways that you can do things to still have a successful house, but your child has got to know and understand your expectation early. You don't wait till they get 21 and say, okay, this is what I expect. No, mom, you out of order. Come on, let's do it right. You got to prepare them, and you at least have to prepare them all through 10th grade on up. You're preparing them to make decisions, to make choices. Because when my girls would come to me in 10th grade, 11th grade, they said, Mommy, what do you think about so-and-so, so-and-so? I said, what do you think about it? What was I teaching them? I was teaching them how to think for themselves, right? They already knew what I thought because they lived with me. But now I needed to see what I put in them, and what I put in them, was it enough for them to be successful and make good choices? I rest my mic.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. And Blanca said her boys live in the same house. It's just split, so they have their own apartment. They pay the bills, and they're in their 30s and 20s.
Okay, even with that, I need to know that even with that, if something happens to you, Blanca, can they survive without you? Did you teach them how to pay the light bill? Did you teach them how to get the grocery bill? Did you show them the bills that are due? You know, I totally agree with that, but I still, in the meantime, want you to teach them. And I'm not saying you didn't, Blanc. I'm just using you as an example, and I hope this is okay. That I want her to be able to, her boys to be able to live and eat. If she drops dead today, and I'm not wishing nothing on you, Blanca, I'm just saying that they will know how, okay, mom paid this bill, mom went here to pay the bill, mom did the gas, mom paid this much for gas, mom paid this much for groceries, she went over here to pay the electric, she went over here to pay the cable, she went over here to pay the, you know what I'm saying? So can they still survive without you? That's the key right there. Yes, it's okay to have a whole group of, you know, all your kids still there, and you got upstairs and you got downstairs and you got a room, because that's helping each other. I totally agree. So when they bring their women, you know, some women nowadays want a little young man to have his own place, but still we have to prepare them to be able to be providers for their wives. You understand what I'm saying? So if they're staying at home and they're paying the bills, you're teaching them how to be prosperous adults. They're still learning, but some parents, you're not showing them how to be productive adults because you're not telling them, hey, the electric bill, okay, I'm gonna let you pay the bill. Don't give me the money. I want you to be responsible enough to go there and pay that bill yourself. Don't give it to me, because I need to know that you can pay that bill on your own without me telling you. You know when the bill is due. You got it written down on your calendar. You know when the phone bill is due. You know when the food bill. You know how much food bill we need. You know what I'm saying? So I need you to go and pay that electric on the 20th of every month without me telling you. That's how you get your child ready to be able to live by themselves. You're giving them instructions, and you're making sure that they following through for maybe 3 or 4 months. And then you're going to back up. I'm not going to tell you what's due on the 20th of every month, but I'm going to call on the 20th to make sure you pay that bill. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, facts. So all right, so we'll do the last one and then we'll wrap it up. And you know, it's the same.
I love it. She said they take care of everything. Go ahead, Blanca. Blanca, go ahead, girl. She said you're from a reservation. Okay, so we stick together. Okay, it's all family here. Okay, my aunt, my uncles, my mom. Oh wow, okay, good job. I love it. Yes. So you guys learn how to, and see, this is what we need to be doing right there, what Blanca doing. You know, right now it's rent is $2,100, $1,500, and you know a guy, a little baby, a young man making $10 an hour is not going to be able to take care of himself properly, but he still can try. Even with that, if he say, hey, Ma, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to, I'm just going to get a job. Okay, son, I need you to get a job that's going to at least make some money. So what is it? What kind of job could you go to? We're not talking about Burger King. We're not doing that. We're going to go over here to Amazon, you know, where you're going to make at least $20 an hour, where you can pay. I'm still going to give you a bill, and I'm going to still expect you to pay that bill, because I'm still going to teach you responsibility. Even if you living in this house, I'm still going to teach you responsibility. You know, so I'm just saying we have to, you can't, something happened to that woman, her son is paying $10 an hour. Is he getting paid $10 an hour? I'm not letting my grown son work for nobody's Burger King making $10 an hour. We're not doing that. Let them crackers send their kids and flip their own hamburgers for $10 an hour. That's what's wrong with black folk. We don't expect them crackers to pay us no money. They still paying people $10 an hour. What are we making $10 an hour at? What are we making 50? What are we making $12 an hour? Where can they live to do that? We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Let them get a trade. Let them learn how to make some money. Create their own businesses. Create an online business. Get them into trading. Get them into Airbnb. Get them into, you know, and I know everybody not business owners. I get it. But Amazon is hiring. Coca-Cola company is hiring. The Ford company hiring. You know, go and put him, the train company, go and put him somewhere. Drive, get him his CDL. Let him go and drive for a truck. Make sure that you're teaching and training your children in a job where they're going to make some money. You understand what I'm saying? We're not just doing McDonald's and Taco Bell. No, we're not doing that. Let them flip their own hamburgers and chop their own turkey meat up for the tacos. No, we're not doing that. I'll rest my mic. Go ahead. Forecast.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. And that's why it goes back to the whole conversation of creating legacies, because it's not just about just doing that. It's combining it with teaching them since they're born that how to be independent, you know, how, like, what is freedom? Freedom is the responsibility of being able to take care of your own community and protecting it from any and everybody who wants to come in and do any kind of disruption to it. It's bringing consequences to anybody who tries to disrupt it. And you take what you have now, right? Where you might have to work at their jobs, but it even starts with the basic things like the family. Like you're saying, if we all making $20-some an hour, putting together, we can have a like comfortable, like quote unquote comfortable life. Like we don't have to have a mansion. We can have a nice place, you know, with space. And also putting our resources together towards some kind of business of some sort. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever it may be, like we can make a plan together as a individual family. And then we take those individual families, and then you have neighborhoods, then you have communities, and that's where you get your Black Wall Streets. And then you take that Black Wall Streets and make it several of them. That's where you get your nations. And then once you have a nation, you have like an army or something that can protect it. And then like you take no prisoners. But it starts with the basic thing of creating a legacy in the first place.
But even with that forecast, even with that, you have to understand, what about buying our own land? Like you said, let's go get some land. You know, everybody, hey, we're gonna go get this 20 acres over here, or 10 acres or something, and we're gonna put monies together, and then we're gonna put our monies together, and we're gonna finance us maybe a 5-bedroom house. You know, we're gonna finance that. We're gonna keep our credit straight, because it's enough of us, just like Blanca said, we got our cousins there, we got our aunts and uncles there, and everybody in one house. Okay, we're gonna build this 5-bedroom house. Everybody gonna have, we're gonna have some rooms downstairs in the basement. We're gonna divide it up into apartments, like little apartments. You understand what I'm saying? So this is something that could be done, and then we won't have to worry about so many of our children being molested, because the family members gonna be watching our babies. And if you have a family member that you know is nasty, then he's not gonna be living there up in the house. If you touch mine, you're just gonna be in the freezer. You understand what I'm saying? And we're gonna make that known. We trusting everybody in here. It's gonna take a village. But let me tell you, when I come home, they better be the same way I left them. Somebody gonna visit the freezer downstairs. We're gonna have a base. I'm just saying, it's time for us to come back together as families, to make some things happen in our communities. And if we have to come together and stay 5 families to a house, or you buy maybe, let's get this 5 acres and everybody have a trailer, for now. You know what I'm saying? Until we, or you know what I'm saying? It's just different ways that we can do this to bring up the cost, because we may have some family members that can't get along. Okay, Susie, we're gonna put a trailer on the property for you to live in, and you still gonna pay us some rent for that land. You're gonna get you a trailer, she gonna pay the rent, but she still gotta pay us some rent, to put your trailer. You know what I'm saying? So, because I know some family members don't get along with everybody. So when we have somebody like that, that's more hyper, but you still want to come live, okay, you put your trailer on the lot, and we gonna still, live as a family, and we still gonna take care of each other.
Right.
I rest my mind.
Yeah, all facts. All right, so I'm gonna play this last one in just a few minutes, just a minute or two, I guess.
In the Black community, somehow, some way, it became a thing for Black parents to kick their children out at 18, right after they graduate, whether they're 17 or 18 or not, because some of us, like myself, were 17. So what are your thoughts on that?
I definitely think it's detrimental to a young person's success when they have to go out into this world alone so early, especially in a time when it is extremely expensive to live by yourself. That's why a lot of them are getting into things that they shouldn't be. A lot of girls are getting into, like things like OnlyFans and, stripping and stuff like that, because they have to find a way to make ends meet if their parents aren't going to help them. And I feel like that's really a big part of our community, only because that was done to our parents. So we do what was done to us, unfortunately, even though we know that it was a situation to where maybe we were uncomfortable or we had a hard time, but because we had to go through it, we don't want sometimes for our kids to have better than we had, which is unfortunate.
I agree 100%. And I think it's unfortunate as well. And I feel like those kids are always going to have resentment towards their parents, because if they do make a way for themselves and they do come successful in the future, they're just going to look back and be like, wow, like it didn't have to take me this long. I didn't have to wait until my 30s or my late, whatever, to become successful. I could have done this way back when. But I mean, I was kicked out and I had to start from scratch and I had nobody to help me.
Right.
So what are your thoughts on the Black community, Black Americans and foreign Blacks?
All right, so yeah, we ain't gonna go into that. That's a whole nother conversation. But
what about that? What about when you're kicked out? Okay, were you kicked out because you had behavior issues? And still we go back to the parenting. Okay, we go back to parenting, to us really allowing our children to understand the assignment. It still comes back to parenting. If you got kicked out, you got kicked out because you didn't want to pay a bill, or you got kicked out because you're being disrespectful. It still comes back to parenting. Okay, you kicked that child out, but it was your fault because you didn't do what you were supposed to do as a parent, to teach them how to respect you, to teach them how to respect your house, to teach them responsibility, to teach them. You didn't tell them the assignment. You didn't make sure that this is the way we doing it. When they 12 and 13 or 9 and 10 or 4 and 5 and they telling, shut up, mommy. Okay, did you handle that? See what I'm saying? Because shut up, mommy comes to shut up, bitch. You understand what I'm saying? So did you do your job when they was younger and lay your foot down and put some rules down, some discipline down, so we'll understand the assignment? Because I ain't have to kick my children out because they knew the assignment. They knew way young when I told them, hey, pick that thing up, and they looked at me and no, I handled that. You understand what I'm saying? So it was a parenting issue. So you got to kick somebody out. Somebody dropped the ball somewhere. Either you was working too many jobs and you didn't lay down that foundation. So now you got Wild Kingdom up in your house because you working 16-hour days because you trying to have the best car on the block. You trying to, have the best looking house on the block. You trying to have that house laid in the shade. And no, we're not doing that. We're going to make sure that our babies are good so we don't have to kick them out. So I'm just saying, because kids don't grow up bad. You see the friends that come around that's bad and they, see their friends and mom ain't there. So you over the friend's house, you see the friend act the fool. So guess what? You're going to bring, well, let me try that. Okay, mom ain't home. I'm going to do what I want to do because my friend doing what he want to do. But, mamas ain't there. You working 16-hour days. So it's different rules. You got to know, you got to make sure your children know the assignment. Okay. I'll rest my mic.
Yeah, and that's a great point, and it goes down because, like you said, if you started when they were babies in the first place, you ain't gonna be like, oh, why are they tripping? Like, not to say things don't happen to people, or because you know if it's a mental issue, like when they're children, if you're in tune, you know what I'm saying.
Wow.
But
I'm looking at Blanca. Hold on, listen. She said, Blanca said they have 280 acres. I'm proud of that family. That's a legacy right there. Okay. And it says, if I kick my kids out, they would just go next door to my mom's house. I like that. And see, Blanca didn't have to worry about her children being molested.
Cassidra got knocked off. Hopefully she come right back. But yeah. They just go to your mom's house is a cultural thing, yeah. And this is the thing about that, right? Because and that's what I was going, because when we talk about generational, like she was saying, they don't grow up bad or whatever. These are things that we pass down or whatever from generation to generation, because we all understand why, and that's why we are talking about creating legacies and breaking generational issues and generational curses that we just do, like the sister was saying. Well, they just doing what was done to them, so they just think this is the way that it is, and becoming more evolved and getting up on the higher level of evolving past that. Let me see if Cassidra came on her phone, might have died or something. I'm not sure. I'm gonna put the link back in there for her. Okay, yeah, I just put the link back in there, Cassidra, in the chat. But yeah, and that's the thing. What are we gonna do about the generational issues, because we understand where it stems from. And I think that's a part of it, educating ourselves about where it comes from, and all of that. All right, yeah, all right, consider you back on.
I don't know, this crazy computer. Just everything just went blank. I do apologize for that, you
Oh,
guys.
you are not.
It
Yeah,
just went blank. I'm like, what happened? So yeah, yeah, I'm looking at Blanca's comments, and I love it how the whole family is all together. So it's almost like they're protecting each other, they're protecting the family. So stuff like that, people would think twice about coming to their land, starting stuff, or being rude, because they know the whole family gonna be there. Just like black folk, you mess with us, we ain't got no help. You seen the little 6-year-old that got beat up by the little Mexicans? The puppy went over into their yard and they beat up the 11-year-old. What the hell? Now, if they had been Blanca, you think they would have went over there on Blanca's property trying to beat up an 11-year-old? Shit, they'd have known, you mess with Blanca, she got the whole crew over there. We ain't going over there. So that's what we need to get back to. Buying up 280 land. Everybody got some money to put towards some land, family. I mean, this should be something that we look forward to doing, either here or in another country. I'm just saying, there should not be a time where family members have to drive 5 hours to get to help somebody, or 2 hours across town, into another city. We have to bring it back together. We have to come together and start buying up land. And I love that idea where she said, Mom is right next door. So if I get tired of my son, I'm sitting on my mom's house, or if I did decide to kick him out, which she probably wouldn't, because that's not in her culture to do. She'd get in trouble, she said, because he's a male. And their culture look up to men, which is amazing. I love it. That's what Blanca, you need to write the book, because we need that book right there to understand that it's time for us as Black families to go and invest in maybe 5 acres right now. If in America, acres land is so expensive. So maybe we can go to Mississippi or Georgia and buy some land and take over a Black area and do the same thing, So I do totally agree with Blanca. Yeah, I totally agree with that. The males are protected in our family. Cool beans. That's good.
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So all right. So to wrap it up, Cassidra, I want to say this, because you've been saying solutions the whole time. I would have asked you, solutions, but you've been saying it the whole time. But we already know everything that has happened to us, and like the sister in the video was saying, as far as well, they just don't, the parents, especially back then, when they had a lot of lack of information. I grew up in a time where you had to go get the encyclopedia because it wasn't the internet. You know what I'm saying? So I understand, and I couldn't imagine what was before that. And so we understand about this generational thing, and then parents do to their children what was done to them, because they think that's the way that life is. So but it's about creating legacies and getting back to business. But just breaking generational curses. I mean, you've been saying the whole solution, but just to wrap up everything that we've been talking about, what you think, Cassidra?
I believe in us investing in our children. Okay. For instance, my granddaughter, I bought them land. Okay. Both my daughters. So they have land, right? And I told them what they can do with the land. I said, this is generational wealth. So we're creating generational wealth now. I didn't have that with my mom, but Google is your friend, and I hear other people talking about generational wealth. And I thought, let me do the same thing. I believe in life insurance. How many of us on here have life insurance? Go and get you some life insurance. And if you can't afford it and your children can because you're older or whatever, let them pay for it. Life insurance is what, $30, $40? Let your kids $15 each. You can get life insurance for $300,000. Okay. For what? Maybe $10. I'm just saying, family, it's time for us to leave our children a legacy. Nobody on here should not have everybody on here should have life insurance. It doesn't cost that much. Don't leave that burden to your children. Okay. That's one thing. Let's talk about land. Let's go and remind your children to keep their credit up in America. Now, if you want to leave the country and go and invest in Africa, okay, I bought land, okay, with Brandon, and I'm just saying, I bought a piece of land and I paid I got a really good deal, okay, and then I bought some with Black Seed twice, okay, so I have land for my babies. Okay. So that's up and it's together. They're, hectares together. Okay. So it's things that we could put in place now. If you're not thinking about going over there, then stand in America, find you some land in Georgia, okay, where that young lady that we was talking about, see if they can come together with some land. Or there's some other people in Georgia that's selling land as Black folk, okay, who's only doing it for Black people with like minds, okay. Think about purchasing you maybe 50 acres and everybody come up, we're saving money and we're going to stay in this little 5-bedroom house and we're going to build on that, on this land. There's so many different ways to do this, but I think we have to come back as a group and let's rethink this thing. Okay. Let's do it different. I even talked to my granddaughter now about her building generational wealth. Okay. How's she going to do that? Buy you some land, when you get up here. Yes, I'm leaving you this, but also you can add on to that and buy for your children. And we need to, I love that thing about Blanca, what she was saying. Hey, let's create it. Let's go over here to maybe, I love Georgia. I do. I like Georgia. And I believe in the rural areas of Georgia where you can buy some land and patrol your land and come together. Like that Black family bought 100 acres. Okay. And let's talk about educating our children. Let's find out a trade school. My granddaughter is amazing at doing hair, telling you, right? Beauty, anything beauty. Okay. She wants, okay. I told her, go get your hair license, go get your makeup license, do all of that. And we'll open up your own shop. You don't have to work in it. You can just run it. Rent your chairs and just don't do just one. You can get several. So you can be, she's her own business person even now because she does nails. She does hair, So we started her young. Okay. So that's something that she can do. And then she said, okay. And then I told her, I said, you go here, you do hair in a couple years. If that's not what you want to do, keep your license, hold on to your license. And by the time you're 23, you're going to know what you want to do. Then you can go to college and get your degree. You understand what I'm saying? So we're not going to just throw it out there in like I did my kids. We're not going to do that because as you learn better, you do better. You understand? You learn from your mistakes. It's things that I wouldn't do with my granddaughter. And I talked to my daughter about it because I've learned, So as you learn, you do things different. Okay. You expect your children, you give them the plan, you write the plan out. What is your vision? What is their vision? Have that vision board. Everybody on here should have a vision board. What is your vision for the next 5 years? Have your children, even if they're in high school, middle school, write out that year's vision. What are you planning for this year? Where do you see yourself next year? You got to do this. Find out what your children's gifts are. Walk them into it. If you know your daughter can cook, and boy, just have her cooking on Sundays. If you know your little boy loves sweets and he's, mommy, let's cook. He always wanting you to cook cookies. Get him some cookies. Oh, teach him how to cook them cookies himself. He can start his entrepreneurship now. It's things that we can do to help our children become entrepreneurs. Let's pull their gifts. Let's recognize their gifts. Let's do it different. We as Black people, we need our own adoption agencies. We need a place to where we can bring in our little, foster kids and adopt them as a group and have some, some adults, older, like grandmas who's retired to watch those babies. You just come in there and work in that adult facility, that children's little nursing home or whatever, the little children foster care, whatever you call the place. I don't even know what you call it, but I've seen them like those little homes. I've seen the homes like that. How much would a home cost? And you open up your own foster care family and get paid to watch your own foster care babies. You understand what I'm saying? We can get money from the government doing that. I'm just saying. Having our own schools. We have principals. We have teachers that can pool their monies together and create an online school for now. A Black school teaching our Black babies. Let's get there. Let's concentrate on getting our babies out of their schools. These are things that we can do right now, family. And if you know that you're a business owner and you know that you know, start saving your money, $50 here. And start, my husband's friends, his family, They have like a bank account, right? And all of the family members put in every 2 weeks. When they get paid, they may put $50 into this bank account. They just started up to $4,000. That's good. Okay. And it's for emergencies. But why not do it to buy some land? Why not do it to buy you 50 acres and everybody get an acre? And then keep on doing it until you got enough money where you can put a house on the land. Whether you living together or in a bigger 5-bedroom home. But everybody putting money together. It's things that we can do now. It's things that we can do. So think about how you can start your family legacies. Think about, look up some land and see where's the land that's cheapest. And think about buying up some land. Think about buying even 10 acres. If you got 10 family members, everybody get an acre. But we're going to pool our monies together and we're going to open up this bank account, or either we're going to hold it in the safe at the house. And every 2 weeks, y'all come together, put some money, put $100 in the safe. You have a pretty nice little nest egg. You have a pretty nice little nest egg if everybody's participating and if everybody was connected to the vision. Because you have entrepreneurs that's putting in money. You have the little youngster, who's making what, and nobody in the family should make it under $10 an hour. I'm serious. That's crazy. You should always be adding on to your income. Adding on to your income. How you do that? Trade schools, learning a talent. If you, like I said, your daughter know how to cook, sell some dinners. Your son know how to bake some cakes and sell some cakes at school, online. I'm just saying, it's just different things that we can do, family. We don't have to live the way we live it. It's a mess right now. Everybody doing their own thing. Who got a savings? You got people on here don't even have $500 in the bank. That's crazy. $500, you don't even have $500 in your home, in your safe. That's crazy. We got to be smart. We got to come together as family members. Bring your family together. Call your aunts, call your uncles, call your cousins, call your brothers and sisters, and talk about us. Let's do this bank account. And let's go buy this land and start looking for land that you guys can build, you guys can buy as a group. Don't that sound better than you living amongst white folk and sending your child to their schools? We can do it. It can be done. It's things that we can do to help us get out of this rut. I rest my mic. I try to cover every point.
No, yeah, that was spot on. And one last thing I'll add just to that is teaching about agriculture and learning about the soil and the land. Because one thing I learned about Lawrence County, Alabama, is they have red clay, which make it real hard for them to do certain things. So like the clay dirt is like in that specific area. So, and maybe you could be utilized, because I don't know nothing about soil, and maybe we knew a lot more about soil, but like teaching agriculture, I think it should be in primary school.
Yes. Yes. I mean, we have black folk that can, my husband, he got a garden, right? And he's good at that. And the black folk that's in the family start passing it, get you some land that you can do some honey on. You know what I'm saying? Blanca said they have land and they have redwood, and she's probably selling the wood off her land. That's not bad. I'm just saying. But start teaching your children how to hunt. Let's get back to that. Start teaching agriculture, like you said. Start getting your gardens together. Start putting that stuff like them tomatoes in the jar. Start jarring. Teach your kids how to jar. We got to get back to this family. And this won't take you within another year or two. You guys can have enough money to put down on some land. You ain't got to get the most expensive land. Georgia got some nice areas where you can buy some land. And just know that if you got enough family members on that land, them crackers ain't coming. Y'all, everybody be armed up. And y'all gonna have some paid security. You're gonna pay your uncle who older. He was an army vet to patrol the land. Pay a couple of them to patrol the land. So 24 hours somebody should be patrolling. Uncle so and so you do 4 hours. Uncle so and so you do 6 hours. Uncle so and so you do another. You know what I'm saying? Put them to work. Put your men and your family to work. It's ways for Black men to make money. I'm just saying we have to do something different. We grow everything. We have peanuts, cotton, redwood, figs, pecan. Wow, look at this. This is nice. You need to write this book, Blanca. I need to go to your land and see. This is nice. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, for sure, for sure. But yeah, this was another good one. Consider I definitely appreciate you coming on here. This is a well needed conversation, and you know, this is why we need to have these conversations. They're definitely important. I appreciate it, and you know, you know want to say anything else, you know?
No, I think we did. I think that enough is, we did enough, but I think this is an amazing conversation because these are conversations that we as Black people need to have. And it's just so sad how a lot of Black folk are so focused on Diddy and all this other stuff. This just like what distracting us, a distraction. You're not even thinking about the stuff that's really important. This conversation needs to go viral for us to understand what we need to do in our Black families.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. I appreciate it, Blanca, and I appreciate Bakari who was in here. Anthony William Bell was in here. My brother Anthony, you gotta come back on here next time, my brother.
Yes, yes.
Ray was in here. My brother Guy was in here. Shouts out to Raw and Matron. She's reading a great book. Y'all should listen to her, like, cause she's reading a book on like Black history and the stuff that I be talking about. So y'all should
Yeah, I heard her the other day. Yeah, I heard her. I finally caught when you gave me that link. I went on there and I subscribed. So I'm finally gonna start listening to her.
Yeah, it's good information. So
yes,
I appreciate it, and thank you, Cassidra. And you know what? I'm going to let this brother have my last words for me.
I've emphasized before that when you have a child, you just don't have a child for yourself. The child just does not belong to you as a mother or as a father. A child is born into a community of people. The child is a gift to the community because the child is not going to live in a world by itself. It's going to live in a community where it relates to other peoples. Its behavior is going to influence other people in the community.
I am here to tell you today that your feelings.
I got commercials even on this. Got that.
If it turns out to be a delinquent or crime-oriented, it's going to negatively affect the lives of the people. The community has to share in educating that child. The community has to share in supporting that child, feeding that child, providing jobs for that child, providing protection for that child. The community, if the child does not turn out well, has to provide rehabilitative services and supportive services and other kinds of services for that child. So then when a child is born, it is not only the responsibility of the parents who gave it birth, but it is also a community responsibility. And so consequently, when one...
Yeah, all facts, Definitely. Thank you, my brother Anthony. Okay, post Matron's link. Did you post it? Was that it, Cassidra?
That's the link that you gave me. So they can always head on that and then they can head over there and subscribe if they want to. If that'll let them. I don't know if that'll let them get on it, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it went in there because you were a
oh yeah, it did go in there. So they can always go on there and hit the link and subscribe that way.
Yeah, and this is her channel and all of that. So yeah, click on her live that Cassidra put on there because that's the book that she's reading right now. So, but again, thank you, Cassidra. Shouts out to all of y'all. I appreciate y'all. And as always, man, we have got to start standing for something, or we're gonna keep falling for anything.
Peace.